Welcome to the Hive, everybody. We're hanging out here in the Hive. And something happened recently that I thought I would share that with you. And we have a bird. Say hi to Bebop. She wants to say hi to everybody and dance. She's a dancing bird. But we had something that happened. I was just checking my account and it said you have over 4,000 hours of watch time. And I'm like, oh my gosh. You know, that's something that you never dream of happening, you know. So it's just like blew me away. I was really shocked. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that it's like a landmark, you know, and it's something you never think you're going to do. So when that happens, you know, you have to say, oh my gosh, thank you, you know, because what happened is, you know, when you start a YouTube channel, you think like there's nobody, you have no subscribers, you have nobody watching you, nobody knows you. And it's really hard. I mean, you know, you do this thing and then you think, and then they say, oh, you should have at least 4,000 hours. And I'm like, 4,000 hours? If you look at 4,000 hours, that's like running a YouTube channel, like watching a video for almost a year, just one computer for a year of nonstop playing. So anyway, so we're going to do a thank you vlog here on the 4,000. And actually, we're going to show some of the top videos that we had, the top 5 that we have in the whole thing. We started out in 2013, and then we went ahead and we just kind of did it for fun. And then when the pandemic started, we started blogging like Speedway, and we started kind of getting into it to kind of keep active and occupied. And we built this beehive here, the Bumblebee Hive, and that's kind of where we do the live stream shows. Is we just decided we'd go ahead and do these live stream shows, and a lot of people like the live stream shows, and it's really great. We get to interview lots of Speedway riders, talk Speedway. It's really great, and we're going to talk about who we've talked about, but we've had lots of live stream shows, and you know, there's so many good riders and people, and what we want to do is promote these people, these riders, and give them a chance to have exposure, possibly to ride overseas. It's really great, and we really appreciate all the riders who have been on the program, and also the riders who are going to come on the program. We got lots more people, so but we've had a really successful show, and it's been really great. And it's actually about the riders, really. We want to promote the Speedway riders. We want to give them a platform. We want them to talk. Maybe there's a promoter somewhere in England or in Poland or Sweden, and they want to see this guy, and they want to see what he's like. So by watching some of these shows, the promoters can actually see these Speedway riders and say, oh, I like that guy, and then hopefully sign this rider. Of course, not all riders are going to go overseas, but it's really nice to give these Speedway riders a platform. Some riders don't need platforms. Some of these older retired riders, like this guy, he doesn't need a platform. Bruce the Fox Penhall. We had Bruce Penhall on the show, and he doesn't need no introduction. He's one of the most greatest Speedway riders of all time. We had Penhall here. And I made a little blog before he became famous. He was really a cool guy. I always enjoy blogging Bruce the Fox Penhall. Bruce the Fox Penhall. He's cool. And we had him for a show. And actually, my camera went out. And then Bruce's camera was only on. So I guess that's good. But it was sad because my camera kind of had a malfunction. I think it was, and I changed the server. I'm like, that's it. I'm done with you. And I changed my live stream server after that. I was kind of upset. But it was good having Bruce in the Hive. We're going to have Bruce Penhall part 2. You know, this guy's just an amazing rider, amazing human being, and he's really great. And we had another great human being in the hive, and this is Dennis Sigalos. We call him Siggy. Siggy's in the hive, and he was really great. Siggy, just a really good rider. He won all these like world pair champions with Bobby Schwartz and I think Penhall and who was that? Bobby Schwartz, and but he was just really great. And Dennis Sigalos was in the hive for 2 exciting shows. We had Siggy in the hive. And he's cool. I mean, Dennis is really a down-to-earth guy, really laid back, just a simple guy. If he likes you, he tells you. If he doesn't like you, he doesn't. He tells you. He's a cool dude, and he likes me, so that's good news for me because I don't want to be told by Siggy that he don't like me. But he's a great guy. And we've had other great riders that probably don't need introduction on the show. Like we've had Aaron Fox, the 2-time United States Speedway champion. He was in the hive a few weeks ago. And Aaron is just a really great rider. I mean, he started out kind of later in life, and not very many people do what Aaron's done. You know, he started out as an older speedway rider, and then he's won back-to-back championships, and nobody kind of does that. And Aaron Fox did that. So Aaron Fox is really a rider that we really should tip our hats to, and he's a total professional. Aaron Fox is just a gentleman. He's a quiet guy, and he's just a really good human being, Aaron Fox. So we're going to go ahead, and we had this really nice show with Aaron, and he was one of our really cool guests. And one of our more popular riders and a really fun guy we had in the hive was this guy right here, Fast Eddie Castro. Do you know Fast Eddie Castro? He's cool. He's pushing 50 years of Speedway. He's really a fan favorite. Lots of people like Eddie, and we had him in the hive. And Eddie was a bumblebee rider. I sponsored Eddie for a year or so back a few years ago. We won track championships. There I am holding a track championship at Victorville, and Eddie holding his track champ. We had a good run over at Victorville. It's like the Bakersfield track. It's slanted, it's fast, and it's crazy, and it's fun. So we had a good time in the hive with Fast Eddie Castro. It was a good time. And then also we had the champion, the future champion, Max Romo. Mad Max was in the hive for a Speedway show. He won this last week in Bakersfield. I mean, this guy is good. He's on fire. And Max can pretty much go and do wherever he wants to do. Hopefully he'll go to Europe and ride, but he wants to win that United States AMA #1 championship on his back. And Max, you know, he can do it. I mean, he's on fire. He gets better and better and better. Max is really, we'd like to have Max back for part 2, so I invited him. We'll see if Maxon takes my invite, but Max just is on fire. And another guy who's on fire is his little brother, Dylan Romo. They were in the last Bandit Out here at Bakersfield. It was Dylan and Max fighting it out for the championship, and Max pulled that one off. But Dylan is a close second place, if you want to call it that. And he got signed for a Speedway team this week, the Plymouth team, the Gladiators. Dylan's a gladiator. He's a gladiator. That's cool. And he was in the hive for a show. We had a little bit of an audio problem, and we'd like to get Dylan back in the hive, and hopefully we'll have that audio problem fixed. And I don't know what happened, but we'd sure like to have Dylan back and talk about his gladiator time coming up. And I don't know. We'll see what happens, but whatever happens, we wish Dylan all the best of luck, because this guy is really a good rider, as well as his brother Max. They're both really great riders, and you know they just really, you know, just are amazing riders. And another rider we had on the show in the past 4,000 hours is this guy, Chris Firecracker. Firecracker is in the hive. This guy is good. He rode in England for like 4 years. He gets on a track and he only knows one way. That's full steam ahead. Chris Firecracker. We call him Firecracker because he rides like a firecracker. I mean, he's good. And Chris just always has been good. He started kind of riding full time at Costa Mesa in like 2005 or something like that. And he was on the Dream Team. He went over to Europe and all the promoters loved him and said, Chris, you have a future in Europe. And from the Dream Team, Chris had a 4-year run in the British League. And he averaged like 7 points. So he did pretty well, Chris Firecracker. And Chris actually sponsors this guy. He's a young rider. He's really talented. And he's good. Let's see, where is he? Here he is. Blake Barillo. I like that guy's name. And Blake is a very good young rider. I think he just turned like 20 years old just a couple days ago. And Blake is no longer a teenager. And he's a handsome guy. He's a great rider. Blake is going to go far in Speedway. And Chris Kerr is actually tutoring Blake. So we're going to hopefully see a lot of success from Blake Barillo. And, Blake was a good guy, really nice guy. And he's just a really humble person. He's like a perfect fit with Chris Kerr because Blake and Chris, they kind of get along really well. And they just are two peas in a pod. They're really good guys. And so that's really cool. And then we're going to also get to the top 5 videos in the channel, but we're talking about what's happened in the past 4,000 hours. And then we had an amazing rider here in the Hive, the young Sarah Cords. She's really a good little rider. She's only 5 feet tall and 100 pounds. She's kind of a little firecracker herself, and she can ride a bike. I mean, she's been riding Speedway for many years now, and the junior ranks, the 150s, the 250s, and now Sarah's riding the 500s. She has good help with Jimmy Gentili, the Wheelie King. He's in her, and her papa helps out too there in the picture. But Sarah is a really good rider. She can ride. Sarah Cords can ride like the wind, and we just can't wait to see her progress in Speedway. She's going to be riding the next event. She didn't ride Bakersfield, but she'll be riding the next event, I think, in Paris. So watch out for the young Sarah Cords. She's really good. And another really great rider is this guy. We just had him on a couple days ago for the Northern California week. We're missing some guys too. We can't talk about everybody. We have had a lot of people on the show. So thank you so much for the riders who I haven't mentioned that have been on the show, because you've all been really great. And we've had nothing but really great interviews. And this guy here, the Rocket, Russell Green, he just gets better and better. He's like 28 years old, and he just keeps, he's in the prime of his life right now. Russell's doing better than ever. I mean, this guy has cool looking spokes in his bike, and he's fast, and Russell's just a good, humble guy. We like Russell Green. And Russell and I, we won a Best Pairs championship together. And his very first D1 ride when he was young, I can't remember what year that was. It was like 2006 or 7 or 8 or something. I think it was 2008. And Russell's just always been a great rider. I mean, this guy's talented. And he started off in junior speedway a little slow, to be honest. But once he got to the 500s, Russell Green was really a quality young rider. I mean, you could tell that Russell was going to have a successful speedway career. And it's been a little slow. You know, Russell's been slowly developing himself and moved up north. And Russell has really blossomed into a good rider. And from up north, we had this guy, Renton Todd. He's really a fun guy. Renton Todd is like a cowboy, and he's a cool dude. And he gives everybody Capri Suns at the speedway races. And with his brother, Reese, they're really cool. So we had Renton in the Hive showing off. He wore those Kevlars, those beautiful red, white, and blue Kevlars, the whole show. He was like the first guy ever that wore his uniform in the show. That was cool. I like to wear my uniform in the show, so I'm waiting. I told this guy here, Reese, his brother, he was just on the show like a couple days ago. Oh, where is he? Where is that guy? We're going to find Reese. There he is. There's Reese. I told him he's getting a new uniform, and he's a really great guy. He wants to be a European rider, and we don't doubt that Reese can go. All these young riders really can succeed if they just keep going with the sport. And we're really happy, for these guys and for their success. And we wish them all the best in the world. And we had this old supercross, motocross rider, and his Warren Reed. I used to hear his name all the time when I went to the Anaheim Supercross. Warren Reed was really a cool rider. That guy was good. He was always like in the top. Warren Reed had a big name in supercross, motocross. He was racing at the Anaheim Stadium and all the stadiums. He was a real legend in the supercross. He was just a great rider. And then we had a promoter of New York. New York is in the high. We had Jason Bonsignor. Jason is the promoter of the New York Champion Speedway, Owego, New York. And he held the Outlaw 2020 National Championship. And that was really great. Brock Nickel won that, the amazing Brock Nickel. And Billy Gennaro got second. There's Billy up there with Jason. And there's Jason riding a speedway bike, the black. It looks like Harmatux leathers. Maybe he stole Sean Harmatux leathers. I don't think so. I think Jason can buy his own uniform. Thank you. And then also that we had Jason as a promoter, and we had this guy here, Dave Joyner, in the Hive just a couple days ago. Dave runs the Fast Friday Speedway show up in Northern California, and their season's going to start May 27th, I believe. And Dave Joyner was a really nice guy, really neat interview. He wants to get that speedway going really good. And this is the 25-man lap race. There's Russell Green. There's a few other riders. There's Gennaro, and there's Gage, and then there's Brock, and then there's Bast. So there's a lot of riders riding in that 25, and he was really good. And then also we had we had some announcers, and when you have an announcer, it's kind of weird, it's like you have an announcer, you're interviewing an announcer. And this guy was one of the legends of all time, him and Bruce Flanders. But Bruce Flanders has passed away, so I could not interview Bruce Flanders, rest in peace. We really love Bruce Flanders and his banter. It's just a really great announcer. One of the all-time legends of Speedway is Bruce Flanders. But another legend is this guy, and he's alive, and we had him in the Hive. We had Larry Huffman. He's really good. He did the Huffman hop. I used to call it the shuffle, but Larry said, it's the hop. I don't do the shuffle. I made a mistake with Larry, and he's a really great guy. He's just a legend. A lot of younger people probably don't remember Larry Huffman, but in the glory days of Speedway, Larry Huffman was the announcer, so it was really great. And he actually made Speedway exciting back in the 70s, and Larry Huffman has since pretty much retired, has had a few health problems. So we're happy to have him in the Hive. And here's another legendary announcer, Terry Ike Clanton. We had him in the Hive. He's really cool. He just had the surgery for his, he has something in near his heart. And Terry went ahead and he just got out of the hospital today. So we want to wish you all the best, Terry, and good health for a long, long time. And Terry Ike is the voice of Industry Hills and Costa Mesa Speedway currently. And he's just an amazing guy. And he's a fun guy. We had him on the show, and Terry's just, he's a cool guy. And we really I went to the river before with Terry. We hung out, and we had a good time. And Terry's just a really amazing guy. And lots of people know Terry. Everybody knows Terry. And then we had the voice of the Paris and Bakersfield Speedway, the only tracks running right now. And we had Chris Ackerman, and Chris was the crazy Chris. He's not so crazy anymore, but I still think Chris is a crazy guy, even if he doesn't want to be crazy. Chris has always been crazy, and he's a great guy. We really had fun with Chris in the Hive. And then what we did in the past 4,000 hours, we had lots of shows. I did like 22 shows, not only Speedway, but I like to mix and stuff the shows, not always just one thing all the time, even though I love the Speedway, don't get me wrong. But I had a series of like 22 shows, and it was the mysterious places and events, if it ever comes on the screen. And it was really a cool series. And I have like different shows of like in the sharks. There it is. I was swimming with the sharks in Mexico, open water. I jumped off a boat because I always dreamt of being with the sharks alone in the water. And then I just jumped off the boat, a party boat, and I was just floating with the sharks for about 45 minutes. And it was kind of scary, I must say. I don't know. I got that out of my system. No more. No more. But I did all these cool shows, what happens after death and, the Night Stalker. And I did all these kind of crazy shows, mysterious shows. And it's kind of fun. Maybe I'll do a few more of those. And I did this one show when I was stuck in the Haleakala crater in Maui for a week with no water. And we talked about the Pele. It's a really mysterious sort of thing in Maui, Hawaii. We talked with Dave Joyner, and he goes to Maui all the time. And this particular series has a couple shows about Maui, what happened. And it was fun, just the exciting adventures. I kind of could share some of my crazy stories, the jumping in the water with the sharks, but I have a whole bunch of them. I got stuck in Kauai, Hawaii, with a bunch of group. I misled them far away, and we had helicopter rescues, and we had all kinds of crazy events. So this was a chance that I could share that with you, and so that was fun. And also I could share one of my high school and elementary school buddies. This guy here, he was one of my favorites, Paul Belial. His parents used to own the Belial restaurant in Garden Grove near Anaheim. They used to serve country cooking. And Paul Belial was number 125. And he's the one who got me into Speedway. And he's passed away a few years ago. Rest in peace, Paul. He's really a great guy. I grew up with this guy. He's a cute little boy. And we were into lots of trouble, and mostly on bicycles and racing and stuff. And he got me into Speedway. So Paul was really an inspiration in my life because he got his Speedway bike before me, and I had to have my Speedway. So anyways, at least I got to save my money from my paper route, and I got to buy my first Speedway bike, JAP Speedway bike. And then we did a 4-part series on Paul. Here's the final chapter when he passed away. He was really a great guy. And I never got to know Paul when he was older. We were childhood hangout buddies. We used to race Speedway together on bicycles. And then when Paul got 16 years old, he had his first Speedway bike in the back of his beautiful green Jeep. And I was like, I want one of those Speedway bikes. So he was a big inspiration. And before that, I used to race mini bikes, or I should say mini enduros, at the Saddleback Park. And here I am when I'm young. I always just loved motorcycle racing. And I used to just I got my first bike at age 12 or so. And I have my Steve McQueen helmet there on the left hand. I was at my junior high school, McPherson. And I was just, really excited about racing. And I used to go hang out and watch the basketball games. The fence way back there, you can't see it, was my motorcycle riding area. I used to ride around the railroad tracks, and then I'd stop by my junior high and say, hey, everybody. Hey. And then the one on the right, the picture was me with my first Bumblebee helmet. It was a big wasp bee my dad painted. And I was number 928 at Saddleback Park. And I was racing. And I didn't have really a fast bike, and I was pretty big for that bike. I think I outgrew that bike, but it was a lot of fun, and it was a good time, back in the racing days. And then I had to learn how to ride my mini enduro, and I was getting my helmet painted to black and red. I think it should have been black and yellow. And then I was racing at Saddleback Park, and when I was like 12 with the Morans, they were racing a different class. And then all these great mini bike riders, Jeff Ward was there. I did race with a very famous road racer. Many of you probably didn't hear about, but some may have. Randy Mamola. He was a world champion, I think, in road racing. And I looked in the program, and I'm like, oh, I raced with Randy Mamola. How cool is that? I don't know what happened. I just have a little trophy from that. But it was just a thought, of being able to be a racer at a young age. I self-sponsored myself. I had no money. It was really a great time. And then also in the 4,000 hours, we had like this famous announcer. I did blogs on him. I wasn't able to interview him personally because he had passed away. Bruce Flanders. He was just a really great guy. We really miss Bruce and his banter. He's just an amazing guy. And we really, like I say, we miss Bruce Flanders. He was just super great. And then another guy, maybe younger riders probably didn't hear about this guy, but he was around since like the 50s or 60s, was this guy here, Ken Maley. He was the hot shoe man, and he made hot shoes for everybody. He was just really, really into speedway, flat track, all the different sports that you slide, you need steel shoes. This was the hot shoe man. Ken Maley had the speedway track, and all the young riders, like even Greg Hancock and me, every young rider at that time used to go to Ken's track. He had a practice track, and we'd pay like $25, and we'd have all day at the track, including water and grading. So it was fun. That was a past blog. He had passed away 15 years ago, so we could not interview him. And another rider that did pass away in '82 was Denny Pyatt. He was a really amazing young rider. I raced against him many times, and the cowboy John Cook back at the Santa Ana Speedway. And they were buddies, so I made a blog about both of them. And John is still alive. He's had a bad accident, but he's doing well now. Dennis Segalos is buddies with John Cook, so we got to talk about that. And John Cook still regularly goes and visits Denny Pyatt's grave. So it's really, really neat that John Cook, he had a very special, close relationship. Every time we used to race at the Santa Ana Bowl, John Cook and Denny Pyatt used to team up and drive together in the van. And so we used to always see John Cook and Denny Pyatt together. But a couple of years later, he got crashed in Hackney when he was in the British League. He got really good, Denny Pyatt, really fast. That's what I keep telling a lot of the young riders now. You can get good really fast as long as you stay with it. You practice, you stay focused on your craft. And Denny Pyatt did that, and he became really good. Unfortunately, he passed away. He was so fast, and he had a horrible accident. But still, Denny Pyatt was a really good rider. And then we had this guy. He's a character. Jimmy Gentili. And Sarah Corrs doesn't know how to say his name properly. It's Jimmy Gentili. And he's the wheelie king. He did a wheelie at 120 miles an hour. So he really knows how to do wheelies fast on a 1,000cc bike. So that's pretty crazy. And we had a fun blog. We didn't have Jimmy in the show. We probably should have him in the Hive. But we did have Jimmy for a blog. I do a lot of blogs. I did like 1,200 blogs. So we had Jimmy in the Hive for that. And then we went ahead and blogged this event, the 76 Speedway Team Racing. That was cool. We have Gene Woods on the top. We have Bobby Boogaloo Schwartz. We have Sonny Nutter next to Bobby there. We have the programs from the Irwindale Sprockets. We have Danny Berserko Becker on the Ventura Sharks. And we have Wild Bill Cody on the left-hand bottom with the Orange County Eagles in the orange. You can't see it's orange, but it's the orange leathers. Gene Woods on the top. That was fun times. And we did a blog on that, and I really enjoyed the team racing. I really wanted to ride that, but couldn't do that. They went out of business after a year, so no more. So in the 4,000 hours, I was able to my high school days, getting wild in high school on my speedway bike, riding it on the field. I kind of got in trouble a little bit, but it turned out good. And I was able to get my speedway bike out in the last day of school and ride it. We had a tradition at Elmo, and we had a lot of good motorcycle riders. So I was able to get my bike out and rumble at El Medina High School. And I didn't get caught, but I almost got caught. We did the last day of the year party ride, all the motocrossers. I was the only speedway rider in the school, and I was a D1 rider at the time. So I almost got in trouble because my bike stalled and I almost got caught. But almost doesn't count, only in horseshoes. So, and this was my drama teacher in high school, Mrs. Herda. She was a nice lady, and she was really fun. And I was in a couple high school plays. I don't know why, but I was in high school plays. It was fun, just goofing around. I played the mortician in our town, and I was in 1776. It was a movie and a play, and I was Colonel Thomas McKean. Colonel Thomas McKean. And so I was a bit of a ham when I was in high school, and I was the Undertaker in our town and Colonel Thomas, and I played a couple more plays. I can't remember, but we went ahead and had some good times. We did blogs on the early day Speedway, Sprouts Elder, and all the beginnings of the flat track days in American history. And this guy was good, Sprouts Elder. I mean, this guy could ride a speedway bike good. He was just an amazing rider and very talented. He had a really interesting history. So it was really fun to, in those 4,000 hours, to blog these guys because it's a part of history. And really, nobody's talking about these guys. So it's really fun that I'm able to share a little bit about the history. Not only the young riders, the up and coming young riders, which we love to do, but even the old ones who died and nobody knows about. So I had to do some research and digging and made a blog on some of these forgotten stars of the past. So it's been a lot of fun doing that. And then I went ahead and blogged the beach. The white sandy beach in Boracay is so beautiful. The number 2 best beach in the world. White pure sand, like cooking flour. Very beautiful warm water. Summer's coming, so it's going to be nice. We like the summertime. And we're going to be at the beach all the time. It's really gorgeous. And here's the rock. They call it the rock because it's out in the ocean. It's a beautiful rock. They have a sort of a tribute to Mother Mary out there. And it's just a really cool little place to go hang out. And the water's so nice, like a swimming pool, warm. It's a lot of fun. I like that one. And so I did a lot of blogging in the 4,000 hours, all over. I was blogging all over, traveling all over the Philippines and all over the place, blogging and hanging bridges and in the jungles and motorcycle adventures everywhere. It was fun, I enjoyed that because I could actually share some of my travels, and I'm going to do that more once the travel eases up a little bit, and so it's more free to travel as far as easy. So blogging was really fun, and just doing that and sharing that with you because I have a lot of friends in America and all over Europe and everywhere, and so it's really fun to share some of that with you. And I had a good time blogging that. And also I had a good time doing this right here. We did a series of Total Domination of Mike Bass. We did a 4-part series of Mike. He hasn't been on the show yet, but we hope to get him on. And we started off from his early days of racing to his total domination in the 70s, to continued on his domination, and to his final chapter. Michael Bass had a storied career, and we really love Michael Bass, and we want to honor him. I looked on YouTube, and there wasn't much about Michael Bass, and one of his neighbors, he wrote me, and he said, "Thank you so much, because we can't find anything on Michael Bass." And if you know the motorcycle sport, Speedway, he was a living legend, winning 70% of the national championships in the 70s. So he did something that nobody probably will ever do in the history of the Speedway sport. So we want to honor Mike Bass as a true living champion. And then this guy was not a champion, though, but he was a champion in my heart. And that's me, a young 16-year-old Speedway rider. I did a video from the Lake Elsinore Speedway. It's only a minute or so, but I had a video clipping of me when I was a young rider, and I was really serious about riding. I mean, I went every weekend racing, practicing Speedway. Speedway was my life, and I just loved it. I went from D3 to D1 in 1 year, so I was able to kind of like do good and advance in the Speedway world fast. And that was my goal, really, is to just get to D1 and race those guys. I didn't really want to be a world champion. Just being there, racing the fast guys was really fun. I raced this guy, and I beat him, so I'm happy, I beat Bruce the Fox Penhall in a main event, and that was really one of my big crowning events. I wanted to get to D1 and beat some of these guys, and luckily I had a good run that night against Bruce Penhall, and it was fun. It was like a real challenge because these guys are good. It was like you had to go all out to beat these guys, and so I did a blog on Bruce Penhall. I don't want to upset him because beating Bruce Penhall, I mean, it's hard to do. Like, who can beat Bruce Penhall? But it's difficult. It was really hard. I was tired after the race. And, the guy just gave you a run for the money. And in my first race in D1 was against this guy, Bruce Penhall. I had a disastrous first race. I got second place. Bruce beat me by a whisker. And then I had this whole situation. My chain guard fell off, almost killed Bruce. He got mad. He dumped me in the wall. And it's this whole story. My sister almost got in a fight with Bruce. And Bruce didn't even remember that. He said, "Really? That happened?" That was fun. And Bruce apologized. I said, "Bruce, you don't need to apologize because we made a really cool blog." So that was cool. And then my first year, I was able to be the King of the Hill match race champion against Brad Oxley. I hope you're doing well, Brad. We have Brad Oxley injured from a motorcycle crash, and we wish Brad all the best and healing. And I was able to kind of win the King of the Hill match race champion at the San Diego Speedway in Otay Mesa, and that was good. I had a really good run that year. And at the end of the year, they had a one-night event. The top three match race champions for the year, they got to race in a championship runoff, the second and third place, and then the winner would race the first place guy. And Brad Oxley was sitting in first. I was sitting in second, and Larry Costa was third. And I was able to win that event and win that trophy. It's right here. Let's see, where is it? It's right there. Right there. There's that trophy. And so that was fun. I did a blog on that. That was actually really fun. I liked that blog. Not because I won, but that was part of it. But I liked the music, and it was really cool. So if you want to see a good vlog, go see that one. It was the King of the Hill match race champion. It just was a neat production. I really liked it. And then I was here in the 90s. I was racing. I had the pink, Pretty in Pink. And there's Mike Faria. He was a United States national champion right behind me there on the top. And I had this bike from Brent Warner, and it was kind of pink fenders. So I said, oh, what the heck? Let's just go with the pink and black. And so we went ahead and did that, and that was fun. I did a blog on this handicap main event. I almost won, and it's a story. That was a fun story. So if you want to go see that one, it's a Division I handicap main event. It was a good little fun blog. And then in 2005, I came back. I took a few years off of Speedway, and then in 2005 I came back. I had this red uniform, and I was able to start winning a few of the main events. They were support main events, and it was fun. I got a little heavier back then, but it was good. And I had this. I started off with a Westlake, and the bike was really slow, and I had to really. That Westlake is that one with Billy Braden, that one where the guy in the blue is racing me, and I had to ride that thing hard. It was slow compared to the Jawas, So I had to really push it. And I was a little heavy, which didn't help. And I had to work really hard to win. And I ended up learning how to win, but not because the bike was fast, because I had to use all my skill to beat these guys because my bike was actually slow. So, and then I ended up getting a Jawa laydown, and on the bottom left hand, I'm holding a flag for the main event win, and I was able to start winning main events with the new Jawa, but the Westlake I couldn't win; it was too slow. So that was fun, and I had to get a faster bike, and then it was like the Jawa laydown was like a rocket ship next to the Westlake. It was fast. So that was really great. And I started having success when I started like getting the laydown bike. It was really good. And then I went to the Bumblebee uniform a year later. I started winning support main events at Costa Mesa. Here's a rider. I think that's Billy Braden. He slipped up the track, and that was a main event. And luckily he didn't hit me. I was just a little bit headed in the lead. And then when he crashed, but Dylan Black, one of my teammates, he was just behind Billy, and he went over his handlebars, had a horrible crash, and kind of messed up his bike. But I ended up winning the main event. That was the last lap anyways, and I pretty much had that race in the bag. But it was a horrible crash, and that's the way that main event ended. It ended Billy crashing, and then Dylan, the rider I sponsored, he was really close, and he went over the handlebars. He crashed, and that was right before the crash. But luckily for me, I didn't get touched. And then another good blog we did was Kenny Carter and Bruce Penhall. Bruce is tired of everyone talking about it. So that was a cool event, part of history. I don't talk to Bruce about that because he's tired of talking about that. So yeah, and then we had a blog on this guy, Brad Oxley, who he actually had that horrible accident. This was him when he was in Europe racing in the British League. He's on the Speedway Star, and Brad was he was on Wimbledon Dons, I think it was. The Dons. He raced there for a year or so, and I'm not sure how well Brad did, but I'm sure Brad was a good rider if he made the Speedway Star, right? And then I had my first D3 race. There I am, and I was learning how to ride Speedway. I had my haircut all nice and cool and my bell helmet jacket. I was ready to race. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was ready to race. Those are fun days. I like those times, D3. So, yeah, we had a good time. And then we were going to talk about the top 5 videos in the 4,000 hours. And those top videos, I actually will talk about them right now. I have a list here, and the list is, let's see if we can get the list here. Here's the list. This is the last 28 days. You can see there's a Brock Villa for sale, Kenny Carter, Penhall was in there. But that Brock Villa for sale is always in the top. I don't know why. And Kenny Carter is actually, those are my number 1 and number 2 videos for like the whole time. Here's my list for the lifetime. Actually, the surfing video is number 1. And then Kenny Carter is number 2. Now, I started the channel on July 12, 2013. But I wasn't really serious about the blogging until this past year. So I didn't really do a lot, but I had this surf video we're going to play. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start at number 5, which is the Brock Villa for sale. We're going to show this thing. They have like 1,500 views. And this is the first video. I have a lot of people looking at this video and nobody's buying the villa. So buy the villa. But we have a lot of people looking at it, and this is one of my homes in Brock. I have a couple of them, so I'm selling one. I got too many houses. And today we're going to show you a little bit about a villa for sale. A dream home villa
It's a 1-bedroom, almost 100 square meter villa with an ocean view balcony. It's very beautiful. It's on a private resort. It's built on a 1-hectare area, more than $1 million worth of plants, trees, and flowers. As you can see, there's a private beach just right outside the villa. It's very beautiful, and you have the ocean out your door. In 2007, it opened up, and I was basically the first and only owner of the villa. It's really beautiful. It's fully furnished. It's 1 bedroom, 2 split air conditioners. It's really, really gorgeous, and the view is $1 million view. We're here at the pool today and enjoying it, and as you can see, we got some people in the pool and we're just hanging out here. The pool is very beautiful. It's an infinity dolphin pool. There's a bar behind me. This place is loaded and it's really fun, and you have a great ocean view. We're here at the veranda area. It's just an eating area and an area just to hang out. And as you can see, the view is beautiful, and the villa is just right next door. Right behind me is the villa for sale, and it's very beautiful. It's ocean view, $1 million view, and we're gonna go check it out. So come on, let's go see. The villa is very beautiful. We're inside now, and the kitchen's behind me. The bedroom's behind me. I had this glass put in because from the bed, you can actually look out and see the ocean. I wanted the bed to actually be opened up so people could just look out and see the $1 million view of the ocean. We're here on the balcony and enjoying it, and we're gonna just go ahead and show you the view. Like I say, it's like $1 million view. It's just amazing. That's it, the 5-star villa for sale. If you think this is something you'd be interested in for either a vacation home, a personal home, or a retirement home, just let me know. It's one of the best resorts in the island. It's very safe, secure, and there's a pool, gym, an ocean. It's really fantastic, and the view is awesome. So just let me know if you're interested, and we can go from there. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell.
Yeah, like, subscribe. That's my number 5 most viewed video. It has like 1,500 views, has a lot of hours. You know, actually, you know, it's always in the top 1 or 2. I look at my, like, how the videos are doing, and that video for some reason is watched all the time. I have no idea. It's a villa that, you know, I had bought a long time ago, and I have a couple, so I just went ahead and put that one for sale, and people just watch it. I have no idea what intrigues them. It must be the same person watching it over and over again, but that actually gets a lot of views. And it's a beautiful, you know, villa, beautiful resort. And so anyways, we'll see what happens, but hopefully we can sell that villa. I thought I'd make one to try to sell it because that would be a good way to promote it. And it's really a good way. Lots of people have actually watched that video, and it's nonstop my number 1 or 2 top videos. So it's kind of crazy. I'm like, what is people see in this thing? Who's watching this thing? So that was my number 5. And number 4 was a really fun video. I did a gold hunting expedition. I have a gold detector, and there was supposed to be some gold in my neighborhood. So I went ahead and got this detector, and there was no gold. So I went ahead. My friend lives on this island called Carabao. Carabao is like a cow name, and it's another neighboring island called Carabao. And he told me there's gold over here. So we wanted to make a blog. So we just had fun. We figured we'd never really find any gold, but it's like a fun thing to do, and we're just having a blast. And so this was the jungle in Carabao Island. I took my motorcycle over there. They put it on top of like a boat. I had my big street bike over there and was riding around this island on my bike. It was really cool. They put the motorcycle, it's very heavy, the street bike, and they lifted it up like 20 guys, and they put it on top of the boat, on the very top of the hood of the boat. I was like, how did they get my heavy motorcycle on there? It was crazy. But we went ahead and did this blog. It was really hot. I was in the jungle. It was a lot of fun, and I'm really happy I made it. But this is my number 4 most viewed video of all time on my channel, and it's the gold bar hunting expedition.
I had a reading in this area, but it's gone. What the heck happened? Try over here. I have a reading right here. It kind of comes and goes right in this area. I found a couple spots in this area that looks like there's some reading.
Yeah.
Whew.
Right here. See?
Huh?
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's the signal.
See if you can find that signal. There's a couple of signals in this area. See if you can find it. We found a signal. Did you hear anything? Anything over here? I heard a couple signals and they kind of disappeared, so.
Yeah.
Do you hear? We found a spot right here, right in that area.
Yeah.
That one, dig there. Oh, we found a spot. Very good. Very good. All this sweat we don't want that for nothing. We want to find something more than a Coke bottle or a can. But we found one area here and we're digging. So we're very much in the remote high mountains in the jungle and we're digging. Nobody comes up in this area. Back in this forest area here in this jungle, and we found a signal. Is it still strong or not? You still feel the signal here? We're digging now. We found a strong signal. Strong or not? You still feel the signal here? We're digging now. Another signal, strong one right behind me. So we're digging, seeing if we can find out what's going on back in this area here. We're digging that spot. We're looking. We want gold bars, right? We want gold bars. We want gold. We don't want aluminum cans. We want gold. Woo. It is really hot in the jungle. I mean, I found my extra water, so I have a full water. I'm very happy. I'm like, so I emptied one of my bottles and then, thank gosh, I have another full bottle. Oh, it's a very nice. We're resting right now. These guys that live here, they're used to it, but me, I'm just like sweating like a pig.
I'm sweating like a pig. I am a pig. We had fun. Here's the gold bar hunting expedition. We had a good time. We came up empty-handed except for some Coke bottles and stuff, Coke tent, but it was fun. And so our number 5 video was the villa for sale, the 5-star villa. It's beautiful and it's really nice. And so far, no takers. Hopefully one day. So that was my number 5 and 4 best videos. And we're going to move over to number 3. It's really cool. Every year in the past on the island, they have what's called an Ati-Atian. And it's like a party, like a Mardi Gras. And it's really fun. And they have like a big party on the beach and stuff like that. They have music and it's really a good time. It's usually like the first week of January. This year we didn't have it with the COVID thing, but the year before this video was taken. And this was actually just out on the street. The guys are preparing for the particular event in the beach, and they were just kind of warming up the night before. And I didn't know. I just kind of saw them, stopped, and did a blog on it. It was just nothing. And that turned out to be my number 3 best video. So they're preparing the band for their big party, their big Mardi Gras Ati-Atian party. Yeah, that was the last Etienne before the COVID, I think. And people, it was cool. Those guys are rocking, you know. All those instruments are playing on the beach. I did some blogs on that, and maybe I'll do a video on that at the end. It's a lot of fun, and those guys really know how to play cool music to me. I like that, and it's a big party. These people really know how to have a good time, and I love that. It's good. So that was my number 3 top video of most watched. It got like more than like 2,000 views or something. It really got a lot of views. I was shocked because I just drove by on my motorcycle and I saw them. I thought, oh, maybe we'll do a blog, you know. And it turned out to be the number 3 top video of. But the number 2 is coming up next. And this was a video that I made, and it was my first Kenny Carter video. And I talked to a lot of my friends on Facebook, and they advised me not to do it because Kenny Carter had a checkered past. Fantastic speedway rider, amazing rider. The guy was gifted beyond belief. He was up there with like Bruce Penhall. We have feather flying. And, you know, he had a tragic ending, and it was really bad. So I made this blog, and I did it against a lot of people's desires, I guess. And it turned out to be my number 2 best video, most watched. And people watch it like crazy. I don't know why, really. It's a little bit of a truthful blog about Kenny Carter, and also it's a little anti. Some of the people that love Kenny Carter on Facebook and stuff, they really hate this video. I got kicked out of a Kenny Carter group because of this video. They just hated it. But I tried to be as truthful as I could in my blogs. I try never to exaggerate stories or tell fake stories, or I do the best I can. On Kenny Carter, I had to do research, and I just reported the best I could. And I'm sure maybe it's not perfect, but, you know, it's genuinely the best I could. Anytime I do a blog about anybody or myself, I never exaggerate or tell like fake stories. You know, I try to be as factual as I can at all possible. So I probably make mistakes, to be honest with you, but I do the very best I can. And this is the Kenny Carter. This was my first one. I made a couple, but this was the first one, and it's watched all the time. It's my number 2 most watched video in my YouTube channel, and it gets a lot of views. And it's a sad vlog, really, but it seems to captivate people, and they come back for more for some reason. I don't know, but it was the first one, which is kind of cool because I was raw on Kenny Carter. I just was going for it, not knowing that much, but I knew he was a good writer. So here we go. Let's look at the number 2 most watched. Here it is. Here's the thumbnail for the Kenny Carter video. That's him at the, I think that's him in England, but he did this kind of thing at the LA Coliseum with Bruce Penhall. He had quite the situation with Penhall, and that's Kenny Carter. He complained a lot. He was a good writer, but he was always crying about things, and he was moaning about things. I always tell the young spear writers, don't do this. You know, be a man and be a good sport. Don't be a crybaby and a whiner. And Kenny Carter was definitely a crybaby and whiner. When Penhall comes on the show, he had this big situation with Carter in '82, and I try not to talk about it because it's overdone. But I made this video, and it really, it was a very famous video. I have no idea, but here we go. Let's see if we can find this one. The Kenny Carter video, number 2. It has like over 2,000 views, has lots of hours. This thing has been on fire. So the Kenny Carter, my first Kenny Carter video, I was raw, and it was fun, and it gets views like crazy.
Welcome back, and today we're going to talk about a speedway rider. But first, we want to thank you for subscribing to the blog. We have now about 400 subscribers, and we appreciate it very much. And today we're going to talk about a speedway rider from England. His name is Kenny Carter. He was born March 28th, 1961 in Halifax, England. Kenny was a world-class speedway rider, and his real name was Kenneth, not Kenny. They just called him Kenny because Kenny is short for Kenneth. And he raced for several speedway teams. Halifax was his home team. That's where his birthplace was. He raced for the team for many years, and he raced for Newcastle. 1986 was Kenny's last year racing speedway in the British League. But going back to 1981, Kenny raced his first World Championship at Wembley Stadium before 92,500 screaming fans. That was the last time they held that event at Wembley. It makes you wonder why they closed that, because they had 92,500 screaming fans. That year he got 5th place. And Bruce Penhall, Bruce the Fox Penhall, he won the World Championship, his first of 2 World Championships. In 1981 and 1982, Kenny won the British League Championship Cup. He was the championship in both years in the British League. Kenny was an amazing rider, but he had a lot of problems off the speedway track. He was a good rider on the track, but off the track he had many problems. And some say he had a serious mental problems. Even his own teammates didn't like him. One time he won a championship with a broken leg, and his teammates gave him hell for racing with a broken leg. People just didn't like Kenny, especially even his own teammates. They had the World Championship event. It was held in Los Angeles at the LA Coliseum in Los Angeles, California. And Kenny was in that event with Bruce Penhall. But Kenny had a few problems. He actually touched the tapes in one event and the referee kicked him out. And Kenny got on the phone and said, "Hey man, you're wrecking my chances at a World Championship." And the referee said, "Who cares?" And Kenny just started protesting. He wouldn't leave the track. And Ivan, the great major, his manager and security guards had to come and get Kenny off the track. He was really pissed off and going mental. Another time that night in the 1982 World Championship is when Kenny and Bruce Penhall were dicing it out. They were riding speedway, bumping and grinding each other. It was just speedway, and in one turn it was like 3 and 4. Kenny fell down and he blamed Bruce Penhall. Bruce did not touch him. We all saw the tapes. Kenny was just mad. He blaming Bruce for touching him and wrecking his chance at the title. I think his chances were already gone. Kenny was just pissed off, and Bruce Penhall really didn't touch him. And Kenny was blaming somebody, and it was Bruce Penhall. Kenny and Bruce just did not like each other. Bruce didn't like Kenny, and Kenny didn't like Bruce. As speedway riders, we know that all the riders don't get along all the time. When Kenny was protesting at the Los Angeles Coliseum, 40,000 screaming Bruce Penhall fans were booing Kenny Carter. They just didn't like his attitude at all, including Bruce Penhall. However, Kenny got revenge of sorts. In 1983, he won the Best Pairs World Championship with Peter Collins. 1986 was Kenny's last year of racing speedway before he had passed away. He raced for the Bradford Dukes for that just a year. And on May 21st, 1986, Kenny got really jealous and mad at his wife. He accused her of cheating. And usually you divorce the girl or whatever. But Kenny got a little crazy and he went ahead and shot his wife, and he shot himself. Sad to say, that was the end of Kenny Carter, and we just feel so sad that all this happened. And the speedway world is still shocked to this day that Kenny would do such a thing. That was the end of Kenny Carter. It came as a big surprise, a total shock. He had such amazing talent, and to do such a thing is unthinkable. It seems like Kenny was haunted with the demons in his mind, and it's very sad.
Yeah, that was really one of my saddest blogs. I mean, that was just a horrible situation, and that actually gets a lot of views. It's my number 2 best video, which is sad because it's a very sad video. I hated to make that video, actually. It kind of tore me up, but you know, it's part of history, and I want to share that with people, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And this happened to be really not my best video that I like to make, but it's part of history. It's truthful, and it's really sad. So that shows you that sad videos do well too. And I didn't mean that I didn't make it to make a top video. Actually, I almost didn't make that video because I really didn't want to talk about it, really, and I felt really sad for his family, for him, his wife. You know, there's a lot of mental people back a few years ago, they had a lot of mental problems, and there was nobody to go to. There was no counseling. You know, people just had to deal with their mental problems. And he, you know, he had tragedy in his family. His mother had a horrible crash, and then she actually, you know, committed suicide. And so he saw some really horrible things in his life, which is, we don't like to even talk about it, but it happened. And so he had a lot of serious problems, and he really needed some counseling, some help. And he didn't get any back in the 80s. They just didn't have that. So we feel really sad about the whole situation. And that video just gets watched over and over again. I mean, it gets tons of views. I mean, it just gets like zillions of hours watching. And I don't really know why. It's not, like I say, my favorite video, to be honest with you, but it gets a lot of views. And this last video went to number 1, and it's a surf video. It's actually the first video, the very first video I put on my channel. And I had some really great music with this video, and it's only a short, it lasts only a minute or so. And YouTube, they took the music off. I guess it was owned by somebody. So I had to actually do this. I had to take the music off and then repost this particular video with no music, thinking, nobody's going to watch this video. And it's my number 1 most watched video. It has thousands and thousands of views. And it's kind of a boring video without the music. I wouldn't say boring, but the music made it great. So I'm kind of sad to this day. But I didn't think it would do anything. And it was the first video I put on my channel back in 2013. I just was out in the ocean filming some surfing and having some fun. There's a guy named Ron, and he actually is a big surfer guy. He's the guy here doing the flips in the ocean. And he does lots of like surf things, and he's a big surfer guy. On the bottom left hand, they have just a few weeks or a month of the year, they have big wave, little bit big, not really big waves, but they have waves to surf. And then this guy is a big time surfer. He's my buddy on the island. He's really good. So we're going to go ahead and play the number 1 video on the channel. I never would have believed it was going to be the number 1 video. If you would have asked me, I would say after they took out the music actually was really great. So when they took out the music, I thought, no way. But it still, to this day, continues to get tons and tons of views. And I don't know why.
Woo! Party, party! In Boracay! Look what I found, some seaweed. Woo, party, party!
I like the music in that video, but they took it out. This very sucks. And so that was my number 1 most watched video, the surf video. And some of my friends, like Jimmy Gentile, he said, you don't have any waves. They're not that big. But I said, yeah, they do some surfing and stuff. And so that video, for some reason, gets a lot of views. The island actually is not known to be a surf island. So it's not really a big surf island. But that video turned #1. So we had really a great, run on the particular channel. It just has a lot of views. The live stream, we started doing this live stream, and it's just gone crazy. People love the live stream, and it's been good. I went ahead, like I say, I got this hive going and got the bumblebee hive all rolling and fixed it up. And we do the shows here, and we have so many great shows and so many great writers. I want to thank everybody who's been on the show. They've been fantastic. And like I say, it's really great to promote the racers. And also, maybe I'll do some of my shows. I did a typhoon surfing show when I was boogie boarding in the ocean in the typhoon. So I can take some of my YouTube blogs, the ones I did. I have 1,200 videos that I made in the past few years. And so I can make my own live stream shows, which I'm probably going to do because it's a lot of fun for me. I have a good time doing it. And I can show you like what I do, like I know I'm a motorcycle rider and racer, but I do other things too. And so I can share that with you. So it's really cool. And so it's been really a great time doing these live stream shows and also promoting the Speedway riders. It's been a really good time. But we're going to do more shows. We have more live stream Speedway riders. It's trying to get next week on old timers, like a Legends week. But these old timers are kind of hard. I have a couple lined up, 1 or 2. But so I don't know. We'll see. We'd like to, if that doesn't work out, we'll get some Speedway riders on the show. They like to get themselves on, and we can promote them too. So it's really great. We can get a chance to promote them. When they do the show, I put their name on the particular show because it's their show, not mine. And then they actually have on their name, if a promoter or somebody wants to like look up this guy on YouTube, their name and their show comes up. And of course, they're going to want to watch this rider. So it's really great to have this particular thing on their name on the YouTube, because that way people can see these riders and they can hear them, and they can maybe sign them to race overseas or wherever. Some people don't like that. They like the riders to stay at home, but the riders are free to choose wherever they want to go. And I want to give them an opportunity to have success, and it's up to them to do the riding and to really prove what kind of riders they are. But it's nice to do promotion and to give them a platform, because that's part of really doing it, is selling yourself, is letting people know who you are, what's happening. And we have a lot of young riders, and we have a lot of legends on the sport that are involved in Speedway and other things. So we're going to have a good time here in the Hive doing the live stream. We had over 4,000 hours, not minutes, hours. That's a long time, 4,000 hours. So it's been really great, and we're just so happy. Here it is, over 4,000 hours. I can't believe that happened. That's unbelievable, because when I started the YouTube channel, I never dreamed that I could get like 100 hours, and we got over 4,000 hours. Thanks to you, we got these hours, and it's a lot of fun, and we just have a good time hanging out here in the Hive, and it's really been good. It's been raining a little bit, not raining, but kind of the weather. The summer hasn't come yet, and it's coming, so it's been nice doing a lot of these shows when the beach weather hasn't been perfect, but hopefully we'll do more soon. And then the beach weather's coming like next. So we're going to be at the beach doing a lot of blogs, but 4,000 hours. And we want to thank you so much, because it's because of you, we have these hours, and also that we have a lot of people that enjoy the channel. And it makes me feel good that we have a lot of satisfaction with people watching. And it just makes me, like I say, feel good to just do that for people, and also to do the shows and also have fun. I like to do the shows, especially the ones where I talk about my blogs and stuff. I did, like I say, the typhoon surfing video. That was a good time. But I have a lot more to do. I have a lot of travel ones. So I may be doing a lot of those because actually I get a kick out of those. I like the interviews as well. They're good. They're a lot of work to do though, to set up, to try to get people on the show. And I enjoy that so much. But when I do my own blogs, it's really a good time too, because I can just do them and just have a good time. I got a lot of videos and stuff I can pull from of my own. So I can share with you some of my own experiences live. So we're going to do more of those, and we're going to just have a good time here in the Hive. But I just want to thank you so much. And it's all because of you. And I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to do this blog today about the 4,000 hours. And I wanted to especially thank the people who support the channel, who have subscribed or who will subscribe. And we're just growing the channel. It's growing in leaps and bounds. And, the hours are just incredible. It's a dream. When I heard that, 4,000 hours, I said, nah, you'll never get 200 hours. And then I got 4,000 hours because it's difficult. It really is hard. And she's laughing. It's hard. I mean, how do you do that? So I just it's all because of you. And thank you so much. You're the bees in the Hive, and we really appreciate you. I appreciate you so much for being a part of the channel, for watching, and just kind of being a part of it. And we're going to do a lot more Speedway and other things. I don't do all Speedway because if I did all Speedway, maybe I'd get tired. But I don't get tired of Speedway, but it's nice to do different things. I get kind of bored, I guess, if I do the same thing over and over again. So it's nice to have a little variety in everything in life. Variety is the spice of life. So you want variety when you do things. And I love the motorcycles. I love the Speedway. It's so much a part of my life. But I have other things too that's part of my life. And I have other blogs. And like I say, I have lots of different shows I've made. And it's really great because of you. I've gone ahead and enjoyed, the channel also, and the support and the friendship. So it's been really great. And like I say, I really appreciate you so much. And thank you for the 4,000 hours. It's unbelievable. So that's it from the Beehive. And we've just really had a good time here. And we're just really looking forward to the next 4,000 hours and what's going to happen. And we're just really enjoying, being in the Hive. So thank you so much for hanging out with us today. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do another blog soon. And hopefully some of my YouTube videos, I have a good time with that. And more Speedway videos. So we're going to enjoy ourselves. So thank you so much. And appreciate you being a part of the channel. And ride safe. I might go on a motorcycle ride now. It's early in the morning where I'm at, so it's time to go riding. Maybe the beach. So thank you so much. Ride safe. Be good. Stay on two wheels. And we're going to see you next race.